Hello friends, welcome back. Happy almost Halloween time at Disneyland. It is already Halloween time at Walt Disney World, but we'll not get into that today. Um, so that means it's almost time for the Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon Weekend. Unfortunately, I am not participating this go around, but such is life. Not you don't get to do everything all the time, so that is the case this weekend. I will not be there. Plenty of friends will be there, but not myself. But I still wanted to take you into the event guide, go over some things, some changes. Well, a lot of the stuff's the same, but there are some changes, which definitely needed to be made after that first return to Disneyland in January. So let's dive in. You'll start out on the welcome page here, as always, with the event guides. A little different with the Disneyland guide this time around. I'm not sure if we'll see it for this Run Disney season for Walt Disney World as well, but they kind of gave an itinerary graphic page here, and then at the bottom, Ken Potrock, the president of Disneyland, welcoming us to the event weekend. So just typical stuff. And then, of course, moving on into the weekend information, where we get into all the nitty-gritty. The first tab is health and safety. Kind of standard stuff. They just kind of laid it out differently this time. If you can see here, we have a green flag, yellow flag, red flag system, black flag, all standard kind of race stuff that we always see with races, medical support information, heat-related tips and stuff like that. All standard, nothing too crazy different about that. So moving along, we get into, there's a race information tab. Again, a lot of the standard Run Disney kind of stuff that you see on the Run Disney website. Maintain a 16-minute per mile pace limit. They suggest that you train at a 15-minute pace, so you get used to that stuff. There will be cyclists on course to kind of help towards the back if you're to make sure you're on that pace, stuff like that. Lost and found information. Now, one thing I do want to note, because this, especially for the 5K last year, was problematic. Gear bag location information for the 5K. They say it's near this stroller shop at Disneyland. I believe that's right inside the gate. I know lots of people, especially for the 5K, did not know where gear bag was. My suggestion would be not even to check a bag for the 5K. There's really nothing that the way the Disneyland 5K is set up, because you're starting on Main Street, it's very, it's kind of chaotic almost. It's not a standard Run Disney kind of setup, and especially compared to the 10K and a half, you don't have like that reunion lot area where there's a bunch of extra stuff. And kind of after the race, they kind of want you to keep moving, get out, and leave. It's not kind of a hangout type of race. Race itself is great because you're, again, starting on Main Street, getting all that park time, stuff like that. But before and after the race, there's really not any hanging out type thing. Because it's very standardized. Once they open the gates, you get in, get to your corrals. They want everybody off quickly, and then at the end they kind of get your stuff and get out kind of thing. So there's that. Restroom information. There will be porta potties in the reunion lot for the 10K and a half. There are in-park bathrooms as well for the 5K. Just all stuff like that. Make sure to get your bib, have it visible. Simple, normal stuff for every race. That's in the race information tab. Moving along, Run Disney Photos. Now, this is one of the changes for this weekend. You will see, or those who had signed up, get their race photos included in their race registration. Slight difference, they do say yoga participants should use the Disneyland app, or a Disney Photopass card will be available to you to link photos there. But otherwise, as normal, you have the race codes in the guide that will tell you all that fun stuff. So once you get your bib numbers, you enter those codes with the bib numbers and replace your number with where the X's are, kind of thing, and your photos will start to pop up. Usually it's pretty quick. Sometimes it may take up to a day, kind of thing. So just be mindful of that. Also, if you are missing photos, do contact Photopass. They're usually pretty good about helping you try to retrieve those photos if they can. Spectator viewing. Now, spectator viewing for the 5K is basically only at the finish line in Pixar Pier. Those who are looking to spectate will be able to access the finish line through the gate near World of Disney in downtown Disney. 10K, they say you can spectate along Harbor Boulevard in Catella, the Family Reunion Lot area, and the Disneyland Esplanade. Half marathon, they say, along Harbor Boulevard in Catella, Family Reunion Lot, Disneyland Esplanade, Angel Stadium parking, and they do tell you if you want to get into that parking lot, enter through Orangewood Avenue. Now, half's a little different because it's on a lot of public roadways, so these are their, noted spectating spots, but there are a lot more spectating spots to choose from. Just be mindful that roads are closed, parking is going to be problematic, but you definitely are more areas to spectate, especially for the half. But that's just what they say are official spots. Transportation and road closures. So for the Expo, big thing because obviously a lot more people, especially locals, may be driving to this. Parking is $10 for Expo Park. For the Expo, they tell you to park in the Pixar Palace parking structure. Now, to get that $10 rate, you do show your check-in pass upon parking, and then they'll give you that $10 instead of having to pay a full theme park parking rate. They do give you hours for the parking structure on there as well, and directions from walking there to the Expo. Rideshare, they tell you to get dropped off at the downtown Disney location, and then follow signage to the Expo from there. Event parking. Yoga and 5K, the Mickey and Friends parking structure will open at 3 a.m. for that. They say standard parking rates may apply, so keep that in mind. 10K kids races and half marathon, they want you parking in the Toy Story parking lot, again opening up at 3 a.m. I don't recall this from the Disneyland half marathon weekend in January, but they do note resort hotel shuttles. It says guests of the Disneyland Resort hotels. So it does not mention Pixar Pier, or Pixar Place Hotel, or whatever it is now. But Disneyland Hotel, Grand Californian, they do say there will be shuttles to the East Shuttle area, which is located between the theme parks near Harbor Boulevard, and the DVC cheering section at Angel Stadium. So like I said, I don't remember that being a thing in January. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong there, but that is something new for this race weekend. Moving along, we have refreshments. This is a new tab too for this weekend. They've never normally done this, having a specific hydration nutrition tab. There will be water stations along the 5K and 10K water only. Half marathon will also include Powerade, so it'll be water and Powerade on course. Post-race nutrition, they do say that obviously you have your boxes, and they do note what may be included, but I've never seen them specifically lay out what could be included in the boxes. They say honey sticker waffle, Baduco toast, Alejandro cheese, Snyder's mini pretzels, soft chewy granola bar, and Mott's fruit snacks. So normally I've never seen that kind of laid out like that, but that is there. Food trucks will be available in the Family Reunion Lot area from 3:30 in the morning to 10:30 in the morning on Saturday and Sunday. And then the Disneyland Hotel for the Expo will have a concession stand that will be available as well. So yeah, that's a new tab for this race weekend. Be curious to see if they carry that on to Walt Disney World weekends or if it's just for this one. Moving into one of the big things, the Health and Fitness Expo. Expo hours. You have the Expo days are September 5th, September 6th, and September 7th. The first day, Expo opens up at 10 a.m., runs till 8 p.m. Friday, this September 6th, you're looking at noon to 8 p.m. September 7th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Obviously, you need to pick up your race bib and shirts here. Bring valid ID and your check-in pass. They are not allowing people to pick up another bib unless the bib is for a minor and you are their guardian, kind of thing, which is all standard Run Disney procedure. For merchandise, the virtual queue, as always, or at least for the last couple years now, will be in effect. Guests can join that ahead of time. I believe Disneyland, it was 8 a.m. because I think Disney World's 8:30. I think they did 8 a.m. at Disneyland. There was a time difference between the two. They do not note it right here. Usually there is a tab or a, information page for that as well. Gold and Platinum Run Disney members obviously do not need to join the virtual queue. Those times I don't believe have been sent out yet, because I would usually get an email a week or so out from the event saying what the gold and platinum times are. Again, those times for Disneyland were slightly different than Walt Disney World times, so keep that in mind. For the virtual queue, you can have up to 4 people in your group. One QR code will be sent for those 4 people, yeah. So I know last year they kind of held the lines outside the area. It's kind of chaotic. This was one of the big complaints from Disneyland. I really don't think they can do much else in this respect because they're just limited on space. So there is that. The bib pickup area is virtually the same as what it was in January. Bib pickup booths you all have here. Runner relations will be in there. Account services. Stand in line where it shows you that your number is, and that will be on your check-in pass. Will be your number, and you go into those that space to pick up your bib. Obviously, if you're Club Run Disney Platinum only, your bib will be in the Club Run Disney headquarters there. Now, this is on the upper level of the expo. Going to the lower level, now there is a change here. I will say for the merchandise, they did make the merchandise space bigger. In January, it was cut off right here. So this was just kind of up there and up. So they kind of expanded it into the expo, the exhibitors and sponsors area for this go around. So that is a change. But your virtual queue return is in the same spot. They'll queue you here. Club Run Disney will start here, and then they'll go into this queue area and go in early. Kind of if you weren't, your virtual queue wasn't called yet, they kind of had you wait outside out here. I know another big complaint from last year was the exit. They kind of want everybody to exit out these doors. There are other doors over here. They really didn't kind of want you going that way. So that was another thing to keep in mind. Pre-purchased merchandise pickup will be next to the merchandise shop. This area, this Run Disney Hub, is kind of where they previewed the medals and stuff like that last time. Obviously, race shirt bib pickup, or shirt pickup, not bibs, is off to the left there. So, again, it's a small area. It's not huge, so, pack your patience. It's going to be crowded. This expo is not one I would want to hang around at like the Walt Disney World one is. I, spend hours at the Walt Disney World one. Here, it's kind of like get my stuff and get out. But that's just me, so keep that in mind for the expo. But yeah, that's the expo. Not a ton of differences. Like I said, merchandise area is a little bigger. But yeah. Moving along, we have yoga. Yoga, very simple, kind of lay it all out right here. Parking structure opens up at 3 a.m. Security will open up at 3:30. Check-in begins at 3:45 at ticket booth 5 in the Esplanade area. Check-in will close at 4:45. They want everybody in there. 5 a.m. yoga is going to start, and they want it done at 6 a.m. and everybody out kind of quick in and out. They're very prompt and timely with this stuff in Disneyland compared to Walt Disney World. There's no wasting time there. So yeah, that's all pretty standard stuff. Not really anything different from January there either. And then we have the 5K. So moving on to the 5K, there are some differences in the course itself. I will pull up a map here in a second. So moving on to the 5K, we have 3 a.m. parking structure opens like the yoga. 3:30 security is supposed to open. I know this was kind of a problem last year. Security was fine, I think, for the most part. It was the staging area open time was off. I don't know. There was some weird things going on there. We had a giant line waiting to get in. I don't know. I think it was just, hopefully now that they know what they're doing, they have at least one race weekend under the belt, they kind of oil this out a little bit better. 5 a.m. race start. They want everybody out by 5:15. Now, I know that may sound kind of crazy. However, this 5K especially is much smaller than a Walt Disney World 5K. Given that it's also in the park, there are 4 corrals. They kind of all load you up on Main Street, and there was no mini waves in January, so it's basically they just keep pushing you out and you're off. You are starting on Main Street again, like I had noted. Slight difference though here. You are going through, if I can zoom in a little bit, you are taking a slightly different route from the start. You do start and go past the Matterhorn like we did last time, but instead of going left, in January we went left and through Toontown right away. This year, for this race weekend, you're taking a right and going behind backstage and then back into Toontown and back through. So that's a change. We just went straight on left last time. So that's a difference. Mile 1 is then in a different spot because of that. We also then this is coming back through Fantasyland here. We did not do this area here. This is different. We didn't I should say, you're coming through the castle for the 5K in this race. We did not go through the castle for the 5K. You obviously started on Main Street and saw the castle, but we didn't do that in January. So this time you are going through the castle, so that's why there's this different route. Again, going through Galaxy's Edge. Again, a different route through Galaxy's Edge because you're then going backstage through this area. We didn't do that last time. We went through the Rivers of America. Now, there is construction here, so I think that is why there is that change. Obviously, Critter Country is soon to become Bayou Country with Tiana's Bayou Adventure opening. So this area is all kind of closed off right now. So that's probably why we are now going through the backstage area instead of that. Then you'll be going through the Disneyland Esplanade area, which is here. The January, again, we didn't do that. We came back this way and went down underneath through the tunnel underneath there and came back up backstage over here. So this time we're going right through the gates of DCA. So that is a change there. DCA, for the most part, is pretty similar. The big difference, I guess, is because we didn't come in back there. We're coming in through the front and we're going back around this way. So your time in Avengers Campus is slightly different. Instead of coming down through by Spider-Man, you're coming down through over by Guardians. So that's kind of your change there. Otherwise, the rest of it, Pixar Pier to the finish is all the same as January if you were familiar with that race. So yeah, that is the 5K. One thing to note, they do not give a corral setup here or, kind of race area setup. And they don't do that for the 10K or half either, which they did in January. They gave us kind of an overview map of what that reunion lot should look like, stuff like that. They haven't put a map out as of yet of that, so keep that in mind. But I would expect very similar things to January on that respect. Moving on to the 10K, not a ton different either, except including the park time. Start and finish is in the same spot as it was in January in that lot over there. So then for this one, you come out down Catella Avenue. That's all the same. Going back around behind Cars Land, again, the same. This time, you go through by Guardians backstage there, through the kind of the front area of DCA, back through Avengers Campus. You got some slight time in Cars Land. This is where it does get a little different because you do go backstage again back here and then back in. We didn't do that. We kind of just took that path between Cars Land and Avengers over there and did that. This area, Pixar Pier's all the same. Mile 3 is in a different spot. It's a little further up, kind of where, or last year I should say it was further up. So that's why you're a little different time in that park area. Once you get into Disneyland, now this is fairly different. Again, I think because construction, we kind of went all the way around the Rivers of America. This time we do not. We kind of just go in, touched by the riverboat there, back kind of around Big Thunder, and back through the castle again, and then into Galaxy's Edge. Backstage again into Toontown, through by Small World. You're going back through Fantasyland, around the Matterhorn, into Tomorrowland, back around the Matterhorn, backstage, under that tunnel, kind of I was mentioning for the 5K, back down. Then you're doing a hairpin turn. Now, we did not do this in January, so you do have a hairpin turn out backstage behind DCA there, kind of by all these hotels and stuff, and then back towards the finish. So due to, construction work going on, they just kind of had to make some changes. Not unexpected. Happens at Disney World, happens at Disneyland, this kind of stuff you have to deal with. Time-wise, this one, a little longer time, or, the stuff is pretty much the same, except for start line closes at 5:25 instead of 5 o'clock. Again, they're getting people out. There's no mini waves here. It's whole corrals where they're moving. They're every 2 minutes, someone's going off, basically. They're getting people off. So it's very quick. They want people on course. Now, the downside of that, again, it's not as bad as, say, Disney World at times because there's less people. But because they're in a rush to get people off, there can be course crowding because so many people are getting pushed off onto the course at the same time. But, yeah. So anyways, moving on to the half marathon. Now, here is where we may see some of the biggest changes in terms of course. The start and finish area are the same again, so nothing different there, really. But as we get into park time here, start over here per usual in that on that Disneyland Boulevard area, I think it is, or whatever that road was. I forget what it's called now. Or Disney Way, I think it was. Anyways, starting there, and you are then taking a left onto Harbor, then taking right onto Catella, doing the same kind of entrance way you did for January and also did for the 10K the day before. This one, there is a slight difference. I think they did hear the complaints about the congestion and water stops, so they did try to change this up a little bit. You instead of going behind Cars Land, you go right into Cars Land, basically, or right between Cars Land and Pixar Pier right away. And so before we went around and entered in the back side there. This time we are not. We're going right in, going right through Pixar Pier. That's where mile 2 will be. And then you're going into around the Grizzly River Rapids area. This is where they had the congestion last year because there was a mile marker, there was a water stop. That's no longer there this time. So that, I think, is a big help. And then you're going backstage again, back out through the front. Your water stop will be in that Hollywoodland area before the mile marker. and then you're going out. So I think that's beneficial because it is more space there. So I think that's going to help a lot. That area is wider than that Grizzly River area, so I think that will be a big help. Again, going out through the Esplanade, similar to January, into Disneyland. Disneyland time is very similar to what we did, except we went around this way of the Rivers of America. Instead, we're going the other way. Again, due to construction in that Critter Country area. Through Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Toontown, back in around a Small World, back out, and then that's where you're going to go out on your roadway. This area is all pretty much the same as January. Once you get onto the road, obviously it's a city, so it's more like a local race. There's going to be spectators along these areas. There were in January. I would fully expect that to happen again here in September. Now, entertainment is going to lack. There'll be some bands and DJs and stuff, but you're not going to get characters once you're out into the city roads. So obviously, taking that way, that's all the same. Anaheim Boulevard, miles 7 and 8, pretty much all the same. Once you're getting to mile 8 and 9, then we're going over towards Angel Stadium, Honda Center, stuff like that. Big difference, big plus, I think, and I'm pretty jealous because I was hoping we would get this in January, and we did not. But before I get there, I do want to note an elevation change. This is a river walk, so this is kind of like a ramp area. You're going kind of down and back up, so it's kind of to get to the Santa Ana River Trail here, and then you're taking that up towards mile 10 before you get to Angel Stadium there. So you'll do some time just before Angel Stadium on the road into the parking lot area, and you're going into Angel Stadium this time. So you will be running through Angel Stadium, not doing all that road. Before in January we had all this parking lot time weaving through here, which kind of sucked. They did have the classic cars out, which was fun, but now you're actually going into the stadium, which I think is great. They do send, like I said, the parking lot at Angel Stadium is noted as one of the official spectating spots. I don't know if they'll allow people into Angel Stadium or not, but do keep note that is one of the official spectating spots is Angel Stadium parking lot. Moving on here, this area is all pretty much the same as January, coming through Gene Autry Way, kind of making a turn, and then heading back up towards the finish, down following I-5 and onto Disney Way towards that Reunion Lot area. So yeah, that is the Disneyland Halloween half. Again, this time another extra 10 minutes to get people off. The race starts at 5. Start line closes at 5:35, so they're really quick. Want to get people off there and out. Only one more event to talk about for this weekend, and that's kids races. I'm also very jealous of the theme for this because I think the Cars Halloween stuff is pretty amazing. But kids race, they have a diaper dash, 100 meter, 200 meter, and 300 meter ages, ranging from 0 to 9. And those kids do get bibs, of course. They need to be picked up at the Expo. There will be a parent claim tag on those to make sure parents are reunited with their kids. Stuff like that. Activity zone will open at 8:30. 100 meter race is at 9 o'clock. 200 meter race staging will start at 9 o'clock. 200 meter race will begin at 9:20. Then we got 300 meter race at 9:40. Diaper dash will begin at 10:10, and everything done by 10:30. So keep that in mind. Parents are allowed to run with their kids in this. I know that's always been a thing. Only the children will get the finisher's medallion though. So all the races happen in the reunion lot area that we use for 10K and half marathon morning and post race. So that doesn't change there. The kids area is off to the side of that. So this is kind of the setup for all the 10K and the half. They don't give a specific 10K and half kind of map for this, but I would expect it to look pretty much exactly like this is. Your finisher's area will be over here for the 10K and half area, half races as well. If you're entering, there will be an event entry on this side and that side, because that way if you're staying in resorts like the Disneyland resorts, and those on this side over here, the Good Neighbor resorts on this side too, will enter through this way. Then there's more resorts on this side as well, and they will enter over here into the race corral area as well. Now, one kind of problem that was of note from January is if you were entering from this side, they were kind of weird about getting into the reunion lot before the races. They were kind of pushing you to just go right to your corrals instead of going in here. I don't know, it was weird. But just keep that in mind as well. Again, too, on half marathon morning especially, there were problems with people entering on this side from the Disneyland Resort side, because then this road was open here, and they were pushing corrals, the back corrals, because they entered in over here is where the back corrals were, and then the start will be on this road here. So you're like A, B, C, D, maybe E. I don't remember how many were on this side. Were over here, and then the rest of the corrals were on this road here, and that was kind of because they were pushing people there, and they wouldn't let people come back into here. So it was kind of a mess. I think there was a lot of miscommunication going between cast members and Run Disney staff and stuff like that. So again, hopefully that's not the case this time. Hopefully they have ironed all that stuff out. Maybe they haven't, but hopefully they have. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that is the kids races and kind of that pre-race, post-race setup there. Again, they don't have an official map for the 10K and half pre-race, post-race, which I find weird because they did for January. They do always for Walt Disney World. I think would help with some communication, but maybe it's not finalized. I don't know. Hopefully they have one come out before the race weekend. Downtown Disney, there are a bunch of discounts for runners this weekend. Keep that in mind, so just keep that in the back of your head. Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs, for example, 10% off. They want you to show your race bib, your race medal, check-in pass, just to note that proof of that you're a runner, kind of thing. Pandora Jewelry, you get a free care kit with the purchase. Salt and Straw, buy one get one free pint. 20% off. Splitsville, 20% off Wetzel's Pretzels. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Also, to note at the bottom, they will be opening some locations early for runners after, for spectators and post-race stuff like that. Jamba and Starbucks will both open at 4:30 for race days. Beignets Express will open at 8 a.m. For on the 7th and 8th. Splitsville will open for a breakfast on the 7th. 8 a.m. to 10:30, and Naples will be opening up early at 7 a.m. on the 7th and 8th as well. So just some things to keep in mind. The only other thing to talk about, we obviously every weekend has a featured charity. This weekend it's the Anaheim Community Foundation. They are the featured charity. So if you want to learn more about them, obviously take a look. And then all of this down here are just sponsors. Sometimes you can find some discounts in these and stuff. But these are just all sponsors for the weekend, and they're, getting their advertising in. But otherwise, that is the digital event guide. That is a rundown of what you can expect for the weekend, an overview. Not too in-depth, not too crazy, because most of us have done this before. Obviously, I have other videos, especially from this past January, showcasing, kind of talking about my experiences, and showing those that race weekend off, showing the differences. So if you want to check that out as well, there's links to that. But otherwise, yeah, I hope everybody has a fantastic time. I will be back for Wine and Dine at Walt Disney World in November. But otherwise, have the best time. I'm super jealous. And go get those medals. So we'll see you next time.